These shirts cost me $50. And today I'm going to... Hello, welcome back. Happy 2026. Yes, we are kicking things off with the much loved Chapova Luena skirt. You see it here on Olivia, Charlie, Paloma, Dua, Julia. You can head over to the thrift store, grab some dress shirts. Actually, while I was there, I also found this blouse where I love the oversized collar with these little loop details.
Is this yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is? Yeah. It's so cute.
But you'll notice the shoulders look a little big on me. I have an idea to easily tailor it while also introducing a size flexible feature. I feel like this is a helpful tip. So we're going to do that easy thrift flip first, and then we're going to get into the $2,000 skirt after I wash and prep all these shirts. Nice and clear, here is the before, and now some of you are thinking, hold on, this is old footage. And you are correct. This was shot a year ago. Having a baby has meant it's taken a year to get this particular footage to you. And let me be clear, that is not, and will not be the norm around here. But yeah, if we can move on, I'm gonna tailor these shoulders. Okay. I have a plan. Some of you might remember that video where I made all these bodice blocks, which is like a core representation of your body if you were a dress form. This is the front, obviously just a half. You would extend it symmetrically. And then this is the back. But the real reason I'm here is because of these darts. On the back, on the front. I'm going to use these as a guide for where to take in the shirt so that the seams land on kind of like nice flattering corset lines. Shoulders roughly lined up. Button placket is not perfect, so I'm just trying to reach like a happy compromise. I have a pin to mark the top of this dart, have a pin hiding under here for this peak, another pin here for the end. Then I'm going to move this to get the side of the shirt. Okay, on this side, I marked the distance from this dart to the shoulder. Then I lined things up at the armpit, and that got me this peak and this pin down here. The guesswork is mounting. I'm going to roughly join these first three and the second three, hope for the best. Caught a little pucker here, so I'm gonna have to smooth that out. Yeah, I can see where this could curve just a little bit smoother. How's the back? Okay. This shoulder is looking better fitted than this one. I finished out the rest of the day sewing in those lines, and I think my back hurts a little right now, but symmetry has been achieved. The shoulders fitting a little cuter. Well, all of this was to get me closer to this image that I've had saved in my Instagram for a long time. Simone Rocha with the lace up of a shirt. I feel like this is like a good combination of like corset, lacing. It's size flexible. It's also accent flexible. Like you could do a satin ribbon for a girlier look, shoelace for a sportier look. Up here at the shoulder, the folds come close enough together where I'm just gonna put one down here, sandwich the other one over. I'm going to sew it down with two parallel stitches, very denim style. I think that will look nice. But as they part ways, here's where I'll make the design decision on whether I still want to forcibly overlap them to close the shirt into a smaller fit. In the back, I think I'm going to bring them together until roughly the armpit, and then from the armpit down it'll be lace up. In the front, I think I'm going to do it all the way until I'm past this chest dart. Won't really know if I like how that looks until I try it on. Whoa. Okay, this was very illuminating. I was basically trying to figure out how much fabric I could get away with sewing down versus this open section where we're gonna do the lace up. And yeah, it's like a pretty snug fit across the chest here. I think I'm gonna release a bit from the back to give it more room to breathe, but I like how it looks. The basting stitch was looking very cheap, which had me a bit stressed. But now with the regular stitching, this seam is looking a lot prettier. I'm curious how I feel about this bottom hem. We'll see. It's time to see what I can find at the fabric store. This was during our annual big snowfall, snowmageddon, snowpocalypse. I went to one of my favorite stores in Toronto and I found this grommet tape, but it does look a bit cheap. I was hoping for something with bigger grommets. I did have some zippers and thread that I needed for another thrift flip. I already posted that one if you want to watch it next. And then before I left, I noticed this loop trim. I grabbed that, stocked up on some muslin, and back through the snow we go. Oh my gosh. Wow. I just pulled this off the machine. This looks expensive. I am liking this. All I did was put it right by the flap, sandwich it down, sew it with a straight stitch. Look at that little stitch. Kind of just had to arbitrarily decide where it ends and cut it off. Now I'm going in with a second stitch. So this is the first one I did to lock in the loop trim. Woo! And this small stitch is the new one I'm putting in just to replace the basting stitch, which I will be ripping out because it is not cute. Hey, present day Wendy, I can finally bring closure to this shirt and show you how it turned out. I'm testing out this new dress form I got. I already love it so much. She's squishy. But more importantly, the number one reason I wanted to try a new dress form is because my old one is not my size anymore. I think maybe pre-kids it was almost my size. Now it's definitely not my size. Oh wow, that turned so nice. My old one has no give, but this one, because of the foam, a little bit of movement, makes pinning a little bit easier, makes pressing directly on the form easier. I'm trying it out with a shoelace first. Okay, gonna fiddle around with this a bit more. Here is how it looked in the end. One last time, here's how the shoulders look before and after. I did try out the white shoelace, but I switched to this blue ribbon in the end. Might have even tried a denser lace up in the back, but I'll save further comments for my Substack. The way I actually really enjoy wearing this shirt is layered underneath my V cardigans. The collar fits perfectly. And now onto the much more intimidating thrift flip. Okay, the shirts. Ren helped me cut them into many rectangles. Same height, but now sewn into the master rectangle. Changed out the brown threads. Time to make a gigantic tree. We took a second to decide the order that all the shirts should be in, and then to the machine. This thrift flip, this is not a drive around the block. This is a long road trip, serious mileage on your machine. I feel like I was going into this project to show you how to do this, and already at this point my takeaway has been don't do this. Don't do this. Haven't even gotten to the pleating and already this is a lot of work. From my research, a little overlock is enough for the top edge. Chose to do a triple thread overlock on the top just so it would be narrow and minimal. But for the bottom, I think the easiest and lightest treatment was the 4-thread overlock turned over and hemmed with a straight stitch. Check it out. This is all one giant long rectangle. I feel like a key part of this project is to get a wide belt matching this kind of energy. Ideally with a cool buckle. This is not just an aesthetically balanced choice. You just need something firm and strong to hold up all of this fabric. You can't use a soft fabric belt. Even in cases where they have fabric belts, it's fully reinforced with leather. There's even a clear vinyl version, but let me show you what I found. I was aiming to find a black belt. This one is not black, but I think it's gonna work. I can't really tell if this is real or fake leather. It has this interesting closure in the front, which I think I can make even more interesting. I took it to the fabric store to see what I could do. This is a silver buckle that I picked. Makes it way easier to match the carabiners, and then the size is like the perfect statement, but the loop part of it is the same size as the original. So I'm hoping we can just swap it right in. I have leftover top stitch from a previous project. Wish me luck. It looks like it's just attached right here. So, okay, looks like I gotta undo this little stitch right here. And the rest is probably held together with a bit of glue if I know my leather basics. Okay, got this open. Moment of truth. Oh my gosh, it's perfect. Yes. Oh my gosh, I bent the needle. It's all going really well though. I just do a running stitch all the way around once and then fill in the gaps for a second pass. Okay. It turned out so good. I don't think I've ever swapped a buckle on a belt before, but it worked out as easily as I'd hoped. I love this. Just this alone was like a fun little mini thrift flip that you could do on any belt where you like the leather strap, but you just want to change up the buckle. Okay, I also went ahead and punched all the holes. I never look forward to hole punching. It's just a place where you constantly have the potential to make irreversible mistakes. Don't love that. With my leather puncher, I did do a couple of trial runs with the different hole sizes, but it ended up being the largest setting on my puncher anyways. So this is good, 30 holes. The next step involves another first time technique for me. Wonderful sent me this iron infused thread, and I found out you can use it to make pleats really crisp permanently. Switching in a white bobbin and the fusible thread. Ooh, that feels more narrow than what they were doing. Do you know what I mean? Now that
Yeah.
we're folding it.
It's probably because like the folds take up some of the fabric.
They do.
So it makes it look smaller.
What should we do? Backtrack now, I guess. Well, this is why we do a trial. We fold and press with the stitch just slightly offset from the fold. That is crunchy. If it melted, we should be able to just like pull these threads out. Thanks. Whoa! And the melted part is holding this tight. Whoa. Whoa! It's pretty crisp.
Such a satisfying sound too. It's like
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's so sharp. Oh man, now it's starting
Oh,
to
no.
melt in its fingers. This thing is so sensitive. I guess it just has to be pressed so well before the first tear. Happy with our first test run, so we got to work sewing and pressing in the pleats. We had a system going where we were pressing and sewing at the same time from opposite ends of our giant strip. Some of you might remember that years ago, I shipped fabric away to be professionally pleated so I could make this Jean-Baptiste Valli dress. The industrial pleat machines sandwich the fabric between paper to go through the press, but at home, this method we are trying is about as crisp and permanent as you can get an accordion fold. The fusible thread acts as a thin line of glue to hold the folds in place so it can survive day-to-day wear and ideally a run through the laundry. I'm still scared to test that, to be honest, but the day will come. To work fast, I used this seam guide from the quilting world. It attaches to the presser foot and it helps you with parallel stitches. I also used a thread pig for the first time. It eliminated the thread tails and kept the beginning and the end of my stitches really neat. Pretty soon I got into a rhythm of using 2 of these little thread pigs. Near the end, I also got the hang of this big burrito that I had to pass through the machine over and over. Ren and I, we did one last swap, and if you are the type that thinks a few steps ahead, you may realize this swap method, it helped us to work fast, but it did create a risk that our pleats were not going to work out perfectly in the middle. I just got so lucky! Coming down to the point where the pleats are about to meet, and 2 inches, 2 inches, boom, 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 boom. The window has been cracked open. Ren just stepped out for a lunch break, and I am gonna put in the very last 2 stitches. Imagine if I had wanted to make a midi skirt or a maxi skirt. This little sewing guide served us so well, saved us all this time from drawing pleat lines. And here's how my little piggies are looking. Thank you for your service. I'll put a link in the description to the video I watched to learn this method of pleating, where you use a fusible thread. But if all that stitching and pressing was not enough for you, I will now be spending the next few hours doing this. Eyelets. Yesterday I tried out a couple things. So I have this one. It resembles what I want the most. Says that it's good for cords, narrow ribbons, bands. That one turned out like this. Definitely way too small. I can't change the width, but I can change the length. So I tried to make it a little bit bigger, which got us this. Still a bit small. Kept working my way up until I got to this width. It's no longer circular. It was barely enough to punch a hole, which did snap a few threads. So I ultimately don't think this is gonna work. And then I noticed there's this guy, also good for cords, and it looks like this. A very reinforced stitch, leaves enough room to punch a hole. At the top, they just have a whole circle of eyelets, and that's where an elastic cord goes through. I have the cord. Let's see if it's a good fit. Yes! Woohoo! Now I did this embroidery on this leftover collar because it's a pretty reinforced material, easy to do embroidery, but the skirt is a little bit on the thin side, so I grabbed my leftover embroidery stabilizer from my Damson Matter jacket. There are many types of embroidery stabilizer. I'm gonna go with tearaway, and so every time I embroider a circle, I can rip away the excess, and so hopefully I won't need much. There we go, and if you can imagine a cord coming out and attaching to this carabiner, trying to minimize the gap here. The loop is closed. Ah! I look like a lampshade. Wow, the most brutal part is done. This is gonna be a pretty full skirt. Oh my gosh. Is this the final stretch? The elastic. I have these little end caps. I was just gonna use it as is, but it actually probably is too long. But you can't see it no matter what.
Yeah.
It's fine. This is just gonna make sure it doesn't fray. Lie it down inside. It's like a way softer metal than I thought. Ta-da! Let's string it up. Oh my god. It's so full. It's really full.
We try to tighten the toggle first.
Yeah. Man, my thumbs are racked. Oh my gosh. Yay! Carson. Yes. Yay. Oh my god. Yay! We did it. This is the piece that got cut off. I do have some feedback. I'm going to share my areas of feedback on my Substack. I don't want to get too into the weeds, but in general, the right stiffness, the right amount of volume, is the tricky part. This totally reminds me of the art of the fan lesson in Princess Diaries. I'm feeling terribly shy today. You guys, I tried my best to dress the part, but stylistically, I think this was a little out of my comfort zone. I'm not really sure this even goes together, but I've just decided to really lean into the red and go for it. For all the photos and my notes, don't forget to check out my Substack. Thank you guys so much for watching. Extra thank you to all of you that are here at the end of this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.